I'm a freelance designer. I just received a large project to design a road sign. It's a sign to designate where pedestrians can cross. I grabbed my sketchbook right away and started putting down various designs, but none of them stood out as the one. One day, I went out for a leisurely stroll through the park to see if I could find some material to model from. I sat down on a bench to rest when I saw something before my very eyes. The rear view of a parent and child holding hands. The sight caught my attention. It was a father and daughter holding hands as they walked through a path shaded by trees. When I saw it, I pulled my sketchbook out of my bag and started drawing. Going for a walk was the right decision. This is it. This is the design. I went to rush home so I could quickly start drawing it up. At that moment, the daughter turned around and our eyes met. The little girl turned around. Her expression looked somewhat sad. I wondered why that girl's expression didn't seem happy, but more like she was pleading for something. That was how she looked. But at the time my head was full of the design, so I didn't think much of it as I left. A few days later, and with my big job finished, I was able to take a breather, so I drank some coffee on the bench in the park. Then, I overheard some people talking. I was so surprised that I spilt my coffee. Two people standing and talking. Every now and then I heard the word lethal weapon. Hey, did you hear about that incident? I did. A girl that lived around here was kidnapped and they just found her body, right? Yeah, that. Apparently, the criminal and the girl walked right through this park. When the photos came out, everyone was shocked. Everyone said the same thing, right? They looked just like a parent and child, holding hands as they walked. There are all sorts of urban legends regarding road signs, and this is one of the more famous ones. A male pulls the hand of a young girl who appears to be looking back and into the distance, like she doesn't want to go, the victim of a kidnapping. The Prime Minister of West Germany said as much in the 1970s, which kick-started the legend. Because of that, the German pedestrian sign was changed from a man and a child to a woman and a child. Because of the Vienna Convention on road signs and signals, the parent and child holding hands sign isn't used just in Japan, but all throughout Europe as well. At present, the government has confirmed there is no truth behind this particular urban legend. It's so late. The elementary school committee meeting ran late, and when I returned to the classroom, the sun was already gone. I was the only one there. The normally quiet school started to feel creepy. Right as I was about to hurry up, I realized I needed to use the toilet. I suddenly really needed to go. I didn't think I'd be able to wait until I got home, even if I ran. I ran to the closest toilets, the girls' toilets on the 3rd floor. When I opened the door, 2 of the stalls were free. Enter the first. I rushed into the toilet and sighed in relief. Phew! Thank God I made it in time. I quickly finished my business, washed my hands, and went to leave. When I looked into the mirror, I noticed something strange. A locked door. Is someone inside? I was in such a rush that I didn't notice, but I wonder, why was the door closed? There was no sound coming from it, but the door was definitely locked. Maybe it's someone from the next class who was also at the meeting. Thinking so, The locked door. Maybe I should check if someone is inside. I knocked. It seemed someone was inside. Relieved that someone was in there, I decided to call out. Is that you? Let's go home together. There was no response. It wasn't her? Embarrassed, I reached for the handle to leave. Huh? It won't open. The door always opened by pulling it, but neither pushing nor pulling worked. And the door didn't even have a lock either. This sudden strangeness reminded me of a story I'd heard. The story of Hanako-san that had been passed down at this school for years. Remembering the story, I nervously moved. The door someone locked. A rumor. Of course it was a rumor. I knocked 3 times and then called out. Hanako-san, is that you? There was no answer. Thinking the story had to be fake, I turned around when suddenly the furious banging on the door continued. It showed no signs of stopping. The lights suddenly went out and I panicked. I screamed and tried to leave, but the door still refused to budge. Please, let me out of here! All I could do was cry. Then, the banging on the door suddenly stopped. Turn around. The locked 3rd toilet door opened. I let out a silent scream. A girl with a bob haircut, white clothes, and red skirt looked at me from the toilet stall. Let's play. Needless to say, there isn't a person in Japan who hasn't heard of Hanako-san. It's said the original urban legend started in the 1950s as Hanako-san from the third stall. The most popular version of the story says that if you knock 3 times each from the first door to the third door in the third floor toilets and then ask, "Hanako-san, are you there?" a voice will reply, "Yes." Then, when you open the door, a girl with a bob haircut and red skirt will pull you into the toilet. There are various versions of this story depending on the prefecture. From the Edo period to the early Showa period, faith in the toilet god was strong, and people often decorated their toilets with red and white dolls and beautiful flowers. It's thought that fake flowers decorating toilets are a remnant of this practice, and also the origins of Hanako-san's red and white clothes, as well as her name.